Hey everyone, welcome to Karchermakes. I'm Andrea, a serial crafter coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania. Very rainy day today, and we're just here to talk about some crafts, some knitting, some crochet, some weaving, some sewing. We got a little bit of sewing to talk about too. That's new to this podcast. So let's just get into it and talk about all the crafty things. So first up, this is my first kind of normal episode in a while. I just spent the past month working on the Stephen West mystery sock along for the summer. It was a month's worth of clothes, and I did film a series of videos kind of showing the progress of that mystery knit along and the unique construction of those socks and some of the mistakes that I made along the way. And if you want to take a look at that series, it's linked down below. Feel free to take a look. But we're just going to start there with these finished objects. And I'm not going to go too in depth with it because, again, I have that whole series. But here they are done, and they are glorious. So the yarn that I used is, the pink is Lily and Pine, and the color pops are leftovers from a Teeny Button Studio advent that I got probably 3 or 4 years ago. But I combined those together to make these color Popportunity socks, and I love how they turned out. They're just really fun. It was a unique construction, in case you didn't watch the series yet. Very unique construction. Some parts were knitted flat, which is kind of unheard of for a sock, but here we go, and they are done. There was a little bit of brioche in the heel, some lace work with these eyelets. These welts were kind of fun to make. And then I know I just saw that Mr. West also came out with a shawl that kind of features this welt technique, and it's really pretty. So if you're interested in that but not interested in making socks, maybe you can take a look there. And so next up in finished objects, we have another pair of socks. So here these are. These are, they don't have a name. This is just double seed stitch that I picked out of one of my stitch dictionaries right here. And if you guys are interested in hearing more about stitch dictionaries and how you can use them to incorporate into existing vanilla socks or existing kind of raglan sweaters, let me know, and I would be happy to kind of talk about that and show and tell some of my stitch dictionary books. But the yarn for these, and again, this is double seed stitch, which is basically 2 knits, 2 purls for 2 rows, and then 2 purls, 2 knits for 2 rows. So nothing fancy, nothing crazy, but here we go. So the yarn that I used on these is cesium yarn, and the colorway is called I'm Setting Booty Traps, which is, I learned from y'all, a Goonies reference. So here they are, and the purple is just a hand-dyed purple from me that I dyed a while ago. And there they are, another pair of socks. So I'm filming this on Saturday, and today is going to be sock washing day. I've been wearing a lot of my hand knit socks. I almost always wear hand knit socks if I'm going out somewhere that requires socks and I'm not wearing flip-flops, but I need to wash my socks today, and I may kind of film that process because the way that I do it is in the washer. Like, I'm not doing it in a sink, I'm not doing it in a bin, and I may film a little bit of that and create a separate video just kind of talking about caring for your hand knit socks and how to take care of them so that they maintain all of their glory. So that might be coming soon. Stay tuned. If you're not subscribed, subscribe so that you can see that when it posts. But in any case, 2 pairs of socks done, which is pretty good progress for me. So next up, let's talk about some works in progress. And I'm going to show this one. I didn't want this to become a forever whip, and I have a video about that too. Check the down bar, but it seems to be working out that way. I do want to get this done this year. That is my new goal. Get this thing done by the end of the year. And I'm pretty close. So what I'm talking about is, let me orient this correctly. I'm talking about the Times Cardigan by Amy Young Gunderson. And it's basically these intarsia half square triangles. It's very reminiscent of a quilt of half square triangles. And my goal with this, and it's a lofty goal, another lofty goal besides getting it done by the end of the year, is to not repeat any colors in any of these triangles. This thing requires 276 squares, which means that's like what, well over 500 different colors. I think I can do it. I'm really trying to do it. I have 97-ish squares left to go. I'm a little more than halfway on this. So I think I can. I really think I can. I think I have enough scraps and Advent leftovers and sock leftovers that I can make that happen, and mini skeins. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna see. We're gonna follow this together. But at the moment, I'm over here doing the sleeve section, and then there will be another sleeve section that starts here and works its way up. And then at the end, it gets seamed down the sides and then bordered. I haven't decided yet what border color I want. So let me know. Let me know in the comments below. With all of these, with this explosion of color in this project, what color do you think I should do to border it? Should I do something more neutral, like a black or a dark gray? Should I do something a little brighter, like a white, or just really go off the rails and do like, I don't know, like chartreuse or something? Let me know. Let me know below. What do you think? What would be a nice little border color for this? So there's that. So in other works in progress, I am making the Weekender by Andrea Mowry, from one Andrea to another. I've had a couple issues with the fit on this, and at this point I'm not going to try to fix it because I am down to the sleeve. I have a few more repeats to go on the sleeve here before I do the cuff, but it's very wide, and like I knew that the pattern called for a lot of positive ease, but I even went down a size. So this is a size 2. I'm still using the size, I think it's 8 or 9 needles, but like it's still very wide. The sleeves seem to fit really well. Like the sleeves are fine. It's just the width of the body that is kind of super wide. So what I think I'm going to do is just roll with it. Because again, like I'm this far, I'm not going back. No, I didn't make a swatch before anybody asks below. No, I did not swatch. But my gauge is actually pretty close to on point for what she's got listed in the pattern. So I don't know. I probably should have made a smaller size is what I should have done. But in any case, I'm also sort of not mad at it being so big because this has a boat neck, and me and boat necks really don't get along very well. I even took it in a few extra stitches this way to make it less boat necky, less boaty McBoatface, if you know. But what I think that'll do is give me the opportunity when I wear this to put like a button down underneath of it and then have the collar kind of coming out and showing. And it gives me the room to do that. So maybe not all hope is lost there, but that's this. It's, like I said, it's very much a work in progress. I've been slowly working on the sleeves when time permits. The yarn that I'm using is Plymouth yarn Encore Tweed. And it's this just gray color with these little tweedy neppy pieces in it, which is fun and interesting for such a kind of plain color. The color is just called T789, like Very creative naming here. Plymouth yarn with your colors. Very creative. I appreciate that. And it's 75% acrylic, 22% wool, and 3% nylon. So there's that. I'm probably going to have leftovers of this. I'm pretty sure I have a whole other skein. And like I said, I only have this sleeve to finish and then the other sleeves to do. So you may be seeing a hat out of this one day is my point. But there's that. I've kind of been enjoying working with a heavier weight yarn. Like most of the projects that I do, a lot of them are fingering weight yarn, and to have something a little bit more thicker and substantial has been really kind of fun to work with and different. So up next, another finished object, actually. I guess I could have included this at the beginning, but here we are. I just remembered it, and the reason why I forgot is because I don't have it with me. I gave it to the person. So I made the Daisy Fields Market Tote. It's by the Lavender Chair. It's a free pattern on her blog, which is great. And I made it for my boyfriend's daughter for her 22nd birthday. Just the fact that this kid is 22 now kind of blows my mind. Like, she's an adult, y'all, and I just, it's been a wild ride. So I gave that to her. She loves it. I'll insert the footage here, some pictures of her. But in any case, I made it out of this Curio number 3 thread. Again, very descriptive, number 3 thread from Knit Picks. I got this on sale. It was very cost effective. I enjoyed that. And the color is jalapeno. And as you can see, I have a whole ball of it left, and I think I have another half rolling around somewhere. So the pattern called for like bulky weight yarn, which I do not love crocheting. No, I don't love crocheting very thick yarns. So I just chose to use the number 3 instead, and I slightly modified the pattern to get it to be the right size, which is one thing I do like about crochet, is that it's very kind of flexible, and you know, adding extra rows, the repeats are fairly small in quantity, so it's easy to make things bigger or smaller. But there is that. And again, she loves it, and I love that she loves it, because you know, as crafters, as makers, as knitters, crocheters, when you make something for somebody, you want it to be appreciated, and not everybody does. Not everybody wants these things. And the fact that she actually asked me for it, and then I saw her use it, like she went on a date with her boyfriend and she took it, that made me very happy. So hopefully you have people that are knit, crochet worthy in your life too. Okay, so now let's talk about weaving. I haven't talked about weaving on here in a pretty long time, just because it takes so long for me to do weaving projects. You would think that they would be very quick to make, and in theory they are, but because I spread my time, my free time, across so many different kind of crafts and projects, like I just don't dedicate like a whole day to doing one thing. Maybe if I did better time management and I planned my projects a little better and really kind of said, okay, today is going to be weaving day, today is going to be crochet day, today is going to be knitting day, I could be more productive and getting things done quicker. But for me, and I've talked about this a couple times before, for me it's more about the process than it is the actual final product. So that's who I am. If you came here to watch somebody crank out sweaters every week, this is not the podcast for you. I can't get anything done in a week. I would be lucky to get like a sock toe done in a week. So there's that. But let's chat weaving. So I made these placemats, and I've shared the fabric on my Instagram, and I'm Karchermakes on Instagram too. If you want to give me a follow, I will follow you back. I follow everybody back. But I made the fabric on my 8-shaft shocked standard, pretty sure it's just called a standard loom, floor loom. And this is called Complementary Weave, I think. This pattern came from a book from Tom Knisley, who I took a class with him actually exactly a year ago, up at Redstone Glen, which is sort of local to me. They do a lot of weaving classes, spinning classes, some knitting classes. But I took the weaving class last year and just fell in love with weaving. And I bought one of his books that has a lot of table linens in it, and it was these placemats. Now, I'm not an expert weaver. These are riddled with mistakes, and that is okay. Starting with, number one, this is not the standard size for a placemat. This is very small for a placemat. I didn't make them long enough. I should have done probably another full repeat of this fleur-de-lis, or whatever you want to call it, design, this like flowery design. I should have done a full another repeat, and then probably even made the borders longer too, because when I flipped them over to hem, it was kind of difficult, and we'll talk about that in a second. But I have actually 5 of these, because again, I measured the length completely wrong. But I have a whole set, and the fun part about doing complementary weave is, wait for it, it's reversible. Look at it, it's reversible. So on the back, it's mainly the light green with the dark green. How fun is that? So now let's talk about the sewing and hemming portion of this program. I had a brother sewing machine that I bought in 1997 for a project that I needed to do in college. And I think I paid like maybe 80 or 90 bucks for it at like the local Walmart. I needed the machine. I had to sew for this class project. I was an art student in college, by the way. I have a bachelor's degree in graphic design. But I needed a sewing machine, and I didn't want to spend a lot of money. So I went to the Walmart. They had it. It was in stock. I bought it. And it's a very basic machine. It's not meant to sew like super thick materials. It did not come with a walking foot. You cannot lower the feed dogs. So it was pretty limited in what it could do. And I took also at Redstone Glen in July, so about a month ago, I took a sewing for hand weavers class, and it was amazing. It was only 2 days, but it was 2 days well spent, and we packed a lot of information into that class. And what I realized from that class is that tools matter. And the tool that I had to try to hem these placemats was not the right tool. It could not handle. So this is 8/4 cotton, which for the knitters and crocheters out there, it's probably equivalent to maybe a heavy fingering weight bordering on sport weight thickness. So to do these rolled hems where you flip it over and then you flip it over a second time, to do these on that basic machine, it literally could not fit under the needle part, like the foot, the presser foot. It could not fit in there. So I knew I needed to get a different machine if I wanted to continue down the path of having hand-woven fabric that I could sew. And a lot of what we talked about in that sewing for hand weaving class is garments. And I do one day, I have these fantasies. I'm a serial crafter. Like, these are the fantasies that I have. I want to be able to make garments out of hand-woven fabric. And again, tools matter, and I didn't have the right tool to be able to do it. So I spent a couple weeks after that really researching machines. I posted on Instagram and got so much invaluable feedback. So if you were one of the people who commented back to me and gave me some advice there, please know I took it all into account and I used it. But I was able to I went to my local sewing, quilting shop. I think they do vacuum cleaners too, which is an interesting combination. But I went there and I took this fabric with me and I said, okay, y'all, this is what I want to be able to sew. I need to be able to sew this. What kind of machine do I need? And the people there were so nice and so helpful. And, they took me around. They had me try different machines. And I landed on one that was very expensive. And I was like, look, this is really outside of my budget for this machine. And what they shared with me was, oh, well, guess what? We have basically event machines. So these are machines that were out of the box. They were either used for demos or at quilting conferences, quilting shows as samples. So we have one that's I think it was 50 or 60% off the price, off of their price, not even the MSRP, which is crazy high in addition to that. So I just felt okay, this is the machine that I need. I've invested all this money into this floor loom. Let me just bite the bullet and get the proper tool for what I want to be able to do. So I did that. I got the machine and I was able to successfully sew my placemats. So all that to say, I can now sew placemats. So there's more in the sewing realm now. Now that I have this machine, it's really opened the door of possibilities. And I decided last weekend that I wanted to make a project bag for this giant sweater. The project bag that I tried to use that I have, it's the biggest one, second biggest one. The biggest one that I have already has something else in it. The next size up, it doesn't even fit. The sweater itself does not even fit in there. So I went to my local Joann's, which is the closest fabric store that I have. But they had all of their Christmas fabric out. And I know it's August, but you guys, look at this. Look at this fabric. I had to. I completely intended to get something just plain, maybe flowers, maybe a plaid or something to be able to make this bag. But I saw these little gingerbreads and I'm sort of obsessed with gingerbreads at Christmas. So I had to get it. And I thought this kind of red snowflake lining went well with it. But so I followed a tutorial on YouTube, and I will link it below, by So Very Easy. And this is the first time that I've ever put, I feel like this is the first time I've ever put a zipper in anything. I may have done it once, in high school home ec class, but I was able to put the zipper in. I was able to add this little handle to it. It's a boxed bottom that I also use a matching canvas for. Again, from Joann, because, well, that's what's close. And yeah, so now I have this bag. Now, obviously, when we make things for the first time, they are not perfect, and this is absolutely not perfect, but it's completely functional. I was hoping it was going to be wider than it was tall, and my proportions are clearly off because it's very tall, but it works for the sweater, so that's really what matters. And I apparently overestimated the amount of fabric it would take to make this, so now I have all this fabric left, so I can always make a second one and probably a third one. But in any case, I just love how that turned out, and it helped me again further build my sewing skills up. It's something that I've always been interested in, but again, not having the right tool for the job, it's not something that I really focused a lot of time and effort in. But now I can do that because I have the right tool. So I'm going to continue practicing my sewing. I do have another weaving project on the loom now. It's going to be a set of 4 dish towels, assuming that I measured correctly, which is always, you don't know until you're done if you measured correctly, but it should be 4 more dish towels. Hand woven dish towels are amazing. If you've not used one, you'll never go back to regular towels. I now need to like go through my linen closet, and I'm pointing like you can see it. It's right outside that door, but I need to go through my linen closet and throw away all of my garbage towels from 20 years ago. It's amazing. So here's the last kind of quandary that I need your all's help with. I really need advice here. I'm leaning in a certain direction, but I don't know if that's really what I want to do. And leave a comment below. Please help me with this. I need help, y'all. So, you know, or maybe you don't know. So Stephen West does his fall mystery knit-alongs, and they're always shawls. And last year's was slightly dramatic, and we don't need to get into that here. It's water under the bridge. But I started it during the make-along and then got to almost the end of clue 3, and it just, like, I ran out of steam, and I have not even looked at this in probably 6 months, it feels like. Definitely since the beginning of the year. So my question to y'all, so just so you can see how much I have done here. So that was clue 1, the square. Clue 2 are these eyelets. Clue 3 is this wave sort of pattern, and then there's still clue 4. And by the way, clue 3 also extends to this side, so I still need to do clue 3 on this end. I'm gonna channel my inner Amy of Happy Little Yarn. Do I finish this or do I frog it? She calls it trash or treasure. Do I trash it or do I treasure it? I'm leaning towards dedicating time to finishing it just because, one, I love the colors. This was intended to be a Ravens themed shawl because, you know, Baltimore Ravens, we're a Baltimore fan base here. And I made this bag. This was one of my bags on my old machine that I made. Again, it worked for stuff like this, but it goes in this bag. I'm leaning towards finishing this only because these sections, we cut the yarn in a lot of places like this. Look at this over here with all these ends. Oh gosh, all these ends, y'all. And if I frog this, or as Happy Little Yarn says, if I trash this, it's going to be tiny, tiny little increments of yarn. Do I need 5,000 little balls of, you know, purple and black and gray yarn? Probably not. I don't know what I would do with that aside from, you know, adding less than 1 gram to my End Times cardigan and calling it a day, and then having all these scraps. I'm trying to work through the scraps. 2024 was supposed to be the year of scraps. So I don't know. I really don't know. Should I just keep going? Should I power through? Should I just dedicate some time to this and finish it? Or do we just give up? I don't know. I don't know. Help. Helpo. Please help. Please help. Taking all comments and feedback there. Okay, so the last thing that I have, I picked up from Katrinkles, and if you don't follow them, they make a lot of stitch markers, knitting notions, and they're made out of like the wood laser cutter things. So I saw on their Instagram that they had these ornament blanks that were really cute, and they have holes in them, and then you use yarn or like embroidery floss and you sew through them, and then now you have this cute little ornament. And if you're new here, last year when I first started this whole podcast situation, I did a lot of Christmas balls. So my one Christmas tree, I have a small Christmas tree that I like to have all handmade ornaments on, just nothing store-bought, just all handmade. So I saw this post on Instagram from Katrinkles that they had like little mystery packs, and you got, you know, a collection of these blank ornaments. And, you know, I thought that would be so fun. Like, let me get something a little bit different than like a knitted Christmas ball or, you know, a knitted little sock ornament. This is something, it's still handmade, but it's a little different. So I picked up 2 of their mystery packs, and I haven't checked if these are still available, but in any case, I think they sell the normal ornament blanks regardless of having the mystery packs available. So I got 2, and I got all of these little ornaments, and I'm so excited to start these. So it came with, each one came with one of these. They're both the same. But it's a little sweater, and then you stitch the yoke into the sweater. How fun is that? And then these were just like in the little mystery packs. They were all mixed up, and they're all somewhat similar. There's these little hats. There's 3 hats, but they all have different hole designs. So you can kind of do them differently. 3 little hats. Oh, I'm sorry, 4 hats. Another hat. 4 hats. Another sweater. Looks like a little cardigan. I wonder, I may have some tiny little buttons I could also sew on there. That would be fun. And then these are 2 kind of circles. And what I'm thinking with these is that because there's holes around it, I could also maybe weave, do some sort of like woven design in there. That would be super fun. So yeah, just 2 of those. So yeah, I thought those would be fun to have something to do for, you know, the holiday season and put on my tree. Okay, so I think that's all I have for you today. I don't think I have any other active projects that are, you know, in the works. I still have my forever whips that are slowly getting thought about, but as far as like the active projects, I think this is pretty much everything. I really want to focus on getting the weekender done. I really want to focus on working on the Times Cardigan. 97 squares. Let's get those 97 squares done. If I do 1 square a day, which is completely doable, then, you know, that's like three months or so. So that's probably fair timing if I'm thinking about getting that done by the end of the year. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It felt really good to talk about all the progress I've been making on these projects and really thinking about what's next. And if you like this, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more, and until next time, happy making.